Everything seemed normal at Westminster Abbey that day. The atmosphere was calm, the press stood ready, and royal watchers were focused on the upcoming Order of the Bath service. But something unexpected happened right before the ceremony began. King Charles and Prince William were seen sharing a rare and quiet moment. No grand gestures, no cameras too close. Just a father and son, standing close, exchanging a few words that seemed unusually serious. Most people didn't think much of it at first, but that moment held more weight than anyone could have imagined. Behind that brief interaction was a storm the public couldn't see yet. A storm that had already started shaking the royal family from the inside. In early 2024, the world was still adjusting to the idea of King Charles as the reigning monarch. His role had always been complicated. Some admired his sense of duty, while others questioned his ability to connect with the modern public. But then something happened that nobody expected. Something that would change how people viewed him, and the entire monarchy, forever. At first, Buckingham Palace released a simple statement saying the king would undergo a routine procedure to treat an enlarged prostate. It sounded harmless, something manageable. The public was told not to worry. It seemed like just another carefully worded royal update. But behind those palace walls, the truth was far more serious. Further medical checks revealed something completely different. King Charles had cancer. This wasn't just a health scare. It was a reality that would affect not only his life, but also the lives of everyone around him. At first, advisors wanted to keep the diagnosis private. That's how the royals usually handled things, quietly, behind closed doors. For centuries, monarchs had maintained a strict line between their personal issues and their public duties. Illnesses were either hidden or downplayed to keep the image of power and control. But Charles decided not to follow that script. He made a bold decision to tell the world the truth, and that choice shook everything. This was the first time a sitting British monarch openly talked about being seriously ill. Instead of hiding behind tradition, Charles showed the world his real self, a man facing a frightening disease, just like millions of others. It wasn't a carefully crafted royal speech. It was honest, it was emotional, and it was brave. People around the world reacted with a mix of shock and sympathy. Suddenly, the narrative changed. The king wasn't just a royal figure anymore. He was a human being, vulnerable and real. For once, the headlines weren't about scandals or power struggles. They were about strength, pain, and courage. This openness created a surprising shift. People began to see the monarchy differently. Instead of an untouchable institution filled with rules and old traditions, it now felt closer to the public, more relatable. Charles's decision to be transparent wasn't just about his health. It became a symbol of something much bigger. It showed that even the most powerful people are not immune to life's hardships. And it brought a new kind of respect from those who had never felt connected to the royal family before. Inside the palace, though, the news was devastating. Prince William, who had always been prepared to one day wear the crown, now faced the very real fear of losing his father. The idea of becoming king had always been something in the future, but now it felt like it could happen much sooner than expected. William's public appearances didn't show the pain he was going through. He kept smiling, waving, and performing royal duties. But behind closed doors, he was struggling. The weight on his shoulders had never felt heavier. And this time, it wasn't just about duty. It was about family. Catherine, Princess of Wales, was also quietly fighting her own battles. She was dealing with health issues of her own, but she stayed strong for her family. She continued her responsibilities with grace, always appearing calm and composed. While the world watched her as a royal icon, few realized the emotional and physical toll she was facing. Still, she remained a constant source of strength, especially for her children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, who were too young to fully understand the storm surrounding them. Amid all this, something remarkable happened. Prince Harry, who had been living a world away from the royal family and often appeared distant from his brother and father, made a private visit. There were no cameras, no public statements, and no official announcements. Just a son coming to see his father. It was a quiet moment of peace in a family often torn by tension and controversy. That gesture, small as it might seem, mattered. It showed that at the end of the day, no matter the disagreements or past issues, family comes first. Queen Camilla also played a major role during this difficult time. While she had never fully won over the public like Diana once had, her dedication during the king's health crisis couldn't be ignored. At first, she tried to keep everything running smoothly, protecting the king's privacy and shielding the family from unnecessary attention. But as time went on, her role became much more than supportive. She stood by him, not just as the queen consort, but as a partner going through something life-changing with the person she loved. Her quiet strength helped carry the royal family through one of its most uncertain moments. When the palace officially confirmed the king's diagnosis in February, the world paused. The announcement was brief and careful. It didn't reveal many details, but it didn't have to. The fact that it was said at all was enough. People saw the king differently now, not as a distant ruler, but as a man who was willing to show his struggles to the world. That moment had a ripple effect. Health organizations saw a sudden increase in people getting screened for cancer. Charities received more donations. Clinics reported more questions and appointments. The king's honesty encouraged people to take their own health more seriously. It made a real difference in people's lives. As King Charles focused on his recovery, he also began thinking about the future. Not just his own, but the future of the monarchy. For him, this was a chance to shape what comes next. He didn't want to just pass down the crown. He wanted to prepare the next generation for something more meaningful. He started involving Prince William and Princess Catherine in more key roles, not just for public appearances, but for real decision-making. And he made it clear, Catherine wasn't just a supportive wife. She was a future queen in her own right. This was a big change. In the past, royal wives often stayed in the background. They supported their husbands but didn't lead. But Charles saw something different in Catherine. He admired her strength, her grace, and the way she connected with people. It reminded him of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. He wanted the world to see Catherine not just as a royal figure, but as someone fully prepared to lead. He began giving her new responsibilities and honors, showing that she was not only respected, but central to the monarchy's future. Catherine's path to this moment was unique. She didn't come from a royal or noble family. Her background was middle class. Her mother had worked as a flight attendant, her father in aviation, and her grandparents were ordinary workers. She went to regular schools and lived a regular life until she met Prince William at university. From the start, people were curious about her. Could someone from a non-aristocratic family really become queen? But Catherine never let the pressure change her. She learned, adapted, and always stayed calm, even when the spotlight was harsh. Over the years, she built a strong reputation, not just because of her style or elegance, but because of her steady presence and quiet leadership. After Queen Elizabeth's death in 2022, Catherine's role became even more important. She stepped up in ways that people noticed. She wasn't loud or flashy. She didn't seek attention. But she carried out her duties with care, and the public responded to that. As the world around the monarchy changed, Catherine became a symbol of what the future could look like. Someone who understands tradition, but also knows how to connect with a modern audience. The king's illness, while deeply personal, became the turning point for a bigger transformation. The monarchy was no longer just about crowns and ceremonies. It was about showing the world that even those in the highest positions can go through difficult times and still lead with strength. Charles's openness about his condition made the royal family more relatable than ever before. It removed the curtain of perfection and replaced it with something real. Prince William and Princess Catherine are now stepping into more visible and powerful roles. But they're doing it with a new kind of leadership, one that listens, connects, and understands the world as it is today. They represent a royal family that is learning how to stay relevant without losing its roots. The British monarchy has always been a symbol of tradition, but now it is also becoming a symbol of emotional honesty and public service in a much more personal way. The King's health battle isn't just a chapter in royal history. It's a story of how one decision, to be open, to be real, can change everything. It shifted how people see the monarchy, and it showed what leadership looks like when it comes with vulnerability. The next generation, led by William and Catherine, isn't just inheriting a title, they're inheriting a mission to continue this transformation, to make the monarchy feel human, relevant, and strong in ways it never has before. And in the end, it was that quiet moment before the order of the bath service that said it all.